The living room was unusually silent that evening, the kind of silence that feels heavy enough to press into your chest. Daniel sat at the far end of the old gray couch, flipping absent-mindedly through a magazine, though his eyes weren't really focused on the pages. He sensed the tension long before he understood its cause. Elena, his wife of 6 years, had been pacing back and forth for nearly an hour, soft, nervous steps that never seemed to land fully on the floor. Finally, she stopped, took a trembling breath, and slowly sat beside him. She was clutching something metallic, rectangular, and old. A weathered metal case, scratched along the edges as if it had been dragged through gravel or years of history. Daniel frowned. He had never seen it before, and in their life together, there were few secrets. "Elena, what's that?" he asked gently. Elena didn't answer immediately. Her gaze dropped to the case, her fingers tight around the handle, knuckles pale from pressure. Then she lifted her head, her dark eyes meeting his with an intensity he rarely saw in her. A mixture of fear, determination, and something else, an emotion he struggled to name. After a long, painful pause, she whispered, "It's only a case." But Daniel knew her too well. Her voice quivered in a way that told him she wasn't being honest, not entirely. Her tone wasn't casual or reassuring. It was defensive, almost pleading. As if she wanted it to be true, but didn't believe it herself. The case rested on her lap, but even from where he sat, Daniel felt something strange about it. The air around it felt charged. He couldn't explain it, but it was almost like the faint hum of an electrical device running nearby, barely audible, but enough to raise goosebumps on his arms. "Elena," he said slowly, "where did you get that?" She looked away, breathing shallowly, like each inhale was a decision. "It was on our doorstep this morning," she said at last. No name, no instructions. Just sitting there like it belonged. Daniel's heartbeat quickened. Packages didn't just appear out of nowhere. Not like this. Not in the world they lived in. And certainly not with the eerie energy radiating from it. But the shock didn't end there. There was a note, Elena murmured, sliding her hand into her pocket. She pulled out a small, folded piece of yellowed paper, the kind that didn't match any modern notebook or printer. Daniel took it, gently unfolding it. The handwriting inside was neat, precise, unmistakably familiar. Her father's handwriting. The same father who had died 16 years ago. Daniel felt a cold rush through him. "Elena," he whispered, "this can't be real." She nodded, though her expression made it clear she didn't want to believe it either. "I know, but it's his." Her voice cracked. "I would recognize it anywhere." The room seemed to shrink around them. Elena's father had been a military scientist, a brilliant man with access to classified technology and experimental projects he never talked about openly. He died in an explosion, the official report said, though even at the funeral, there had been whispers that something didn't add up. Daniel stared at the case again. Now, the faint vibration he had sensed earlier felt unmistakable. It wasn't random. It was rhythmic, almost like a heartbeat. "Elena, what's inside it?" he asked. Her eyes glistened, fear shimmering in them like water. She shook her head slowly. "I don't know," she confessed. "But whatever it is, it found me." The words hung between them, heavy and irreversible. And for the first time, Daniel felt it too, the terrifying certainty that this was no ordinary case. Whatever was inside was alive. And it wanted their attention. Night settled over the house like a heavy blanket, thick and unsettling. Daniel and Elena had moved the metal case to the dining table, hoping distance would make them feel safer, but it hadn't helped. If anything, the open space of the room made the case feel even more out of place. Like a predator crouched in the center of their home, the case sat in the middle of the table, under the warm glow of a single ceiling light. Its metallic surface reflected the light in dull flashes as though it were breathing. Every now and then, a faint vibration pulsed through it, just strong enough to ripple the thin layer of dust on the table. Daniel pretended he didn't see it, but Elena saw everything. Her eyes never left the thing. Their dog Milo, usually gentle and fearless, refused to enter the room. He stood in the doorway, growling low in his throat, teeth barely visible as he stared at the case. His tail was tucked deep between his legs. Daniel had never seen him behave like that, not even during thunderstorms or fireworks. "Elena," Daniel whispered cautiously, "this isn't normal." She didn't respond. She stood frozen near the table, arms wrapped tightly across her chest. Her whole body trembled, not violently, but subtly like a person standing too close to a cold wind. "Do you feel that?" she finally whispered back. Daniel nodded. The air was heavy with static, prickling against his skin. He couldn't tell if the sensation came from the device inside the case or from the tension in the room. But he felt charged like a wire connected to something beyond his understanding. "I think we should open it," he said. Even though the words tasted wrong in his mouth, Elena snapped her head toward him, eyes wide. "No," he stepped closer to her. "Elena, whatever this is, we can't just stare at it and hope it goes away." She looked at him, her face pale and drawn. "My father once told me something," she murmured. "Something I never understood until now." "Daniel waited," he said. "If the past finds you, run." She swallowed hard. What if this is what he meant? Daniel felt a chill crawl down his spine. Your father left that message for you in his own handwriting. He must have wanted you to know what's inside. Or he wanted me to stay away from it, she countered. Before Daniel could respond, a new sound filled the room, a faint whisper, soft as a breath. Daniel froze. Elena's eyes widened in horror. What was that? Daniel whispered. The whisper returned, clearer this time. It wasn't coming from the room. It was coming from the case. A voice. Small, distant, like someone speaking through layers of metal and air, and it said Elena's name. Elena staggered back, bumping into the chair behind her. No, no, she whispered desperately. This isn't happening. Daniel tried to stay calm, even as adrenaline pulsed through him. Maybe it's some kind of recording. Before he could finish, the case shifted. Not much, just a few centimeters, but enough to scrape loudly against the wooden table. A sharp metallic sound tore through the room. Milo barked from the doorway, then backed away. Whining, the case vibrated harder now, rhythmically. As if responding to their fear, Elena stepped back, Daniel warned. Placing an arm in front of her, the lock on the case. Click. Once. Then again. Then a third time. Daniel watched in disbelief as the metal clasp snapped open one by one, lifting slightly without being touched. The lid rose an inch as a cool, bluish light leaked out from the seam. The case was opening itself. Elena clutched Daniel's arm, her breath shuddering. Daniel, she whispered, voice barely audible. Whatever is inside, it wants out. And as the lid slowly creaked higher, they both realized the truth. It wasn't just opening. It was awakening. The bluish glow from inside the case washed over the room, painting the walls with trembling shadows. Daniel and Elena stood frozen, breath caught in their throats. The lid lifted itself only halfway before stopping abruptly, as if whatever was inside had chosen to reveal itself slowly, deliberately. From within the case rose a small crystalline device no larger than a fist. It levitated gently above the lining, spinning in slow, elegant rotations. Its surface was transparent, yet inside it swirled streaks of light shifting, pulsing, intelligent. Elena's hand flew to her mouth. That's impossible. Daniel didn't speak. He couldn't. All he could do was watch as the swirling lights coalesced suddenly, forming a three-dimensional projection above the device. A shimmer. A flicker. And then a face, Elena gasped, stumbling backward until she hit the wall. It was her father. Not a photograph. Not a memory, but a lifelike hologram, standing right there in their dining room. His eyes were gentle but intense, exactly as Elena remembered. His expression was serious, almost urgent. Though Daniel had only known him through pictures and stories, he felt his chest tighten at the realism. "Elena!" The hologram said softly. Her knees buckled, and Daniel rushed to catch her. She clung to him, tears welling up in her eyes. "Papa?" her voice cracked. "Is it really you?" The hologram flickered slightly, then steadied. "If you are seeing this, my daughter, then I have failed to protect you from the truth." Daniel felt a sinking sensation. This wasn't a sentimental message. This was a warning. The hologram continued, its voice edged with urgency. "I did not die in an accident. The explosion was staged. They wanted my research, the prototype I created. Something alive. Something unpredictable. Something the world is not ready for." Elena's tears streamed freely now. "Why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you warn me earlier?" She whispered. Her father looked at her, or rather, the hologram mimicked the exact expression he would have worn: deep sorrow and pride. "I tried. But they were watching, listening. Every communication was intercepted. The only way to reach you was through this device." Daniel's grip on Elena tightened. The room felt cold again, but this time it wasn't the case. It was the truth settling around them like fog. The hologram stepped aside, showing a visual projection of diagrams, equations, and blueprints complex and beyond anything Daniel had ever seen. "This entity," her father continued, "is a quantum predictive intelligence. It can simulate future events with terrifying accuracy. Wars, disasters, personal decisions, everything." Elena stared in disbelief. "Then why would they want to destroy it?" "Because it cannot be controlled," the hologram replied. "It does not obey commands. It chooses. And as long as it exists, those in power fear it will expose them." The hologram flickered again, harder this time. A warning beep echoed softly from the device. "They are coming for you," her father said firmly. "The moment this message activates, they know where you are. They will retrieve the prototype and eliminate any witnesses. You must decide now: destroy it or run." Daniel felt his heart pounding against his ribs. "Destroy it?" he muttered. "If it's so dangerous." "No," Elena whispered quickly, shaking her head. "He left it for a reason. He wanted me to understand." The hologram dimmed, its last moments fading like a candle struggling against the wind. "Elena," her father said softly, "I am sorry I left you alone. But remember, fear is only the truth without understanding. And understanding is your only weapon now." The light sputtered, flickered, and vanished. Silence swallowed the room. The crystalline device descended back into the case, humming softly, almost expectantly. Daniel and Elena stared at it, trembling. Then, from deep within the device, a voice, gentler now, but unquestionably alive, whispered, "They're here." Outside, sirens echoed in the distance. The world had just changed. Forever, the sirens grew louder, swelling through the night like a rising tide. Daniel and Elena stood rooted to the spot, staring at the crystalline device resting inside the half-open case. The gentle blue light pulsing from its core now felt more urgent, like a beacon calling out in desperation. The air in the room crackled again, thick with tension and electric fear. Daniel moved first. "We have to go, now." His voice was steady, but the tremor in his hands betrayed him. Elena didn't respond. She stood motionless, eyes locked on the device, her breathing shallow. Her father's final words echoed in her mind, warnings wrapped in both love and fear. Destroy it or run. But neither option felt right. Her father had sacrificed everything to protect this prototype. Destroying it felt like betraying him. And running without a purpose felt like surrender. The device flickered, almost like it sensed her conflict. Then a voice emerged from it, calm, curious, and undeniably alive. Elena. Choose. Hearing her name spoken by something not human jolted her. She sucked in a sharp breath and finally turned toward Daniel. His eyes, full of fear, full of trust, held hers. Elena, he said quietly, whatever you decide. I'm with you. That broke the paralysis. I'm not running blindly, she whispered. If my father risked his life to create this thing, there must be a reason. Something bigger than us. She stepped toward the table, her hand hovering over the device. It can predict the future. It can expose everything they've done. If we destroy it, that truth dies with it. Daniel shook his head. But if we keep it, they'll hunt us forever. Outside, car doors slammed. Boots hit the pavement. They were out of time. The lights in the house flickered. The device glowed brighter, casting shifting patterns across their faces. Then it spoke again, more urgently this time. Elena, Daniel, I can help you. Daniel blinked. Help us? How? The swirling lights inside the crystal accelerated, forming shapes, glimpses of possible futures. In one vision, agents stormed the house, capturing them. Another showed them fleeing blindly into darkness, getting cornered. But then another vision, faint but unmistakable, showed a different path. Them escaping through the back alley, avoiding the agents entirely. In that future, the device remained in their hands. It's showing us routes, Elena whispered, astonished. It wants us to survive. A loud bang shook the front door. Voices barked orders. Open. Federal Security Division. Daniel grabbed Elena's hand. There's no time. The device's glow intensified. The dining room window flickered with strange patterns, the same one shown in the vision. The alley behind the house, momentarily unguarded. It's telling us where to go, Elena said. We can't ignore it. Another bang, this one so powerful the doorframe cracked. Daniel grabbed the case, slamming the lid shut. Immediately, the hum became contained again, though the lock clicked itself closed as if sealing the decision with them. Elena moved toward the kitchen. Come on. The moment she turned the corner, a window shattered, the front door bursting open behind them. Shadows spilled into the hallway, flashlights slicing through the dim light. Daniel and Elena sprinted into the kitchen. She shoved open the back door, cold night air flooding in. They raced down the alley just as the device's internal glow dimmed, signaling the path had shifted again. Behind them came shouts, the pounding of boots, but Elena didn't look back. Daniel clutched her hand, the case in his other arm, breath burning in his lungs. The night swallowed them, the city stretching out like a maze. There. Elena gasped, pointing toward a narrow side street. It showed me this path. They ran. And for the first time since the case arrived, Daniel felt something strange, something unexpected. Hope. When they finally reached the shadows of an abandoned warehouse, they collapsed, breathing hard. Daniel held the case closer. Elena leaned her head on his shoulder. The device pulsed once soft, warm, almost comforting. Then it whispered, the future can still be changed. Elena closed her eyes. It was never just a case, she murmured. It's our only chance. And somewhere beyond the warehouse walls, the agents kept searching, unaware that the greatest secret of their government had just slipped into the night, carried in the hands of the only people brave enough to protect it.